Today I'm going to be doing a couple of different things. I think with this video I'm going to focus mostly on the chicken stock. The chicken that we cut up, yes, this is the same cutting board. I have washed it. It's crazy. You can use cutting, crazy. But yeah, warm soapy water. If you want to wash the excess off. I actually use 1 capful of bleach per gallon of water. Actually, sanitizer water essentially is all that is, and that's good for sanitizing the board, and then oil it afterwards so that it doesn't dry out. And this bamboo, it soaks up the oil pretty well, so it stays pretty good. Mirepoix, which is a fancy French word for vegetables that you put into a stock, essentially. Onions, celery, carrots is what goes into chicken stock. And the chicken that I cut up, the bones, the scraps from that, we'll actually use for the stock today. Onions, I'm actually going to stop the video because what I like to do is you cut the top and the bottom off of the onion and then skin the outside. And a lot of people have a problem with onions making them cry, and I really don't know of anybody that doesn't have this problem, because I would be included in this. So we cut the top and the bottom off, and then you're going to want to peel the outside. I usually make a small incision to get through the next layer down, the one that's not as easy to get through. Skin there. And once we pull this stuff off, what we're going to do is drop an ice bath and cool it down. I'm going to stop the video because I usually leave it in there for a couple minutes, and I don't want to waste any time with this video, so I'll be back. Now, a lot of people have like other tricks and stuff they like to say works for onion cutting. Ice bath I've found to be the best. The lemon on the cutting board, stuff like that, doesn't work. People say it does. Cut enough onions in my time, no. So whatever you're not cutting, just go ahead and put back in the ice bath. So what I did is cut the tip and the top off the onion, and we'll do from here. So that would be the top and bottom, right? Cut it in half this way, and once you do that, cut it in half one more time this way, right? Like I said, whatever you're not cutting, put back into the ice bath. Save yourself a little bit of problems. Now, the cool way to cut onions with the least amount of problems is once you've cut it like this, essentially you've just got a whole bunch of layers, right? So you'll cut in, if you come in at the bottom and cut in at an angle, right? These will turn into nice, pretty little, essentially julienne-looking strips, right? So then, with these little strips, all you would have to do to dice it, turn the whole thing there, I've cut it this way, and just go back in and cut it this way. Pretty simple. Ta-da! And these break up into nice little cubes. Essentially, we're just getting everything ready for this. Once you have everything, this is another stupid French word. Once you have everything together that you want, It's called mise en place. It just means everything in its place, right? It just means that you're getting everything ready. So once again, cutting in little angles like a pie. We're going to be making chicken stock today, and a lot of people use vegetables to make a vegetable stock, and I think vegetable stocks are completely pointless. If you're wanting to make soups or something like that, then just use salt water and vegetables. Because you're just wasting vegetables if you're making a vegetable stock. Personal opinion, you can do what you want, obviously. Okay, I'm going to cut up some celery and some carrots here. I'm not going to show that part because it's kind of boring, but I want them all about the same size as this, and then we'll get to work on the stock. On a personal note here, celery. When you're using your celery, all the pieces that you don't normally use, like the leaves and stuff like this is what you're going to want to go into the stock, because you're using the celery for flavor, not for substance, right? So the most flavor in a celery stock is in its leaves. So use the leaves, save the rest for whatever you use your celery for. And your parts, I forgot to go over this. Essentially, 50% of your mirepoix is going to be onions, 25% carrots, and 25% celery. So 1 part carrot, 1 part celery, 2 parts onion is essentially how you figure that out. Yeah, so don't throw this stuff away. This stuff is good stuff. If anything, throw the little chunky base part away that, is all kind of tough and crappy. The leaves have tons and tons of flavor, great for seasoning soups and all kinds of stuff like that. So we're going to be using this. Alright, here's where my recipe is going to differ from a lot of other recipes. Most of the time people will roast the vegetables off. I actually sweat them in a pan with a little bit of olive oil and deglaze with white wine and a little bit of celery in there, but it'll be alright. What I'm doing is getting most of the carrots first because they actually have a longer cook time. So first the carrots, then the onions, and then the celery. Not this one. Can't have that. So you're not wanting to fully saute these. You're just trying to sweat which just means pull some of the moisture off of them. After we deglaze with the white wine, which is essentially just after you're cooking or whatever, getting some of the oil off of it using white wine. Once you do that with the white wine, you're going to throw it through a strainer. You don't want any extra stuff in your stock. And we're essentially just doing this for flavor. This will bring out some more of the flavor before you put it in the stock. And the awesome thing about this is it makes your house smell great. And this is my cup of wine. And yes, I have a paper plate on my oven. Sorry about that. And one of the things I'm not going to do is put any like peppercorns or garlic or bay leaves or any of that dumb stuff in this, because this is actually a stock, not a broth. Now, if you're making broth, which essentially is just the same thing, just has seasoning. But why I don't like to do that is because when you make a broth, you're kind of painted into a limitation of things you can do. Say, like a Lebanese dish would require cinnamon in your stock for the broth. Bay leaves, American cuisine, thyme or rosemary and garlic for Italian dishes. Bay leaves also for like a potato soup or something like that, which I'm going to make with this stock, by the way. These are aromatics, and like the word implies, it's for the aroma. This makes a really nice, flavorful stock. And this should be in every single one of your stocks. Now, depending on what you're doing, like if you're doing like a, say a brown stock, I'm doing a white stock, but if you're doing like a brown stock, you would actually roast the bones off in the oven and use like a tomato paste or tomato puree on the bones to brown them more, and that would actually get you your color in your stock. Kind of nice. Okay. And the leaves and the celery are starting to wilt, so we know that this is about done. So, these those with a little bit of white wine. All good. And from here I'm going to drop this in the strainer, and then we're going to start on our stock.